Thank you for staying with us. Now, in recent days, Enugu residents have been reacting to the announcement of a planned 10-day power interruption across parts of the state, an exercise that is tied to major maintenance and reinforcement work. Well, with us in the studio this morning to discuss the state of electricity supply in Enugu and its environs is Emeka Eze. He is the head communications, Main Power Electricity Distribution Limited. Good morning. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Now, in the last few days, many residents have been reacting to the 10-day planned power interruption. So can you begin by helping us understand exactly the purpose of this scheduled interruption and what MEDL is trying to achieve?
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to start by saying that the maintenance is happening within the space of the transmission company. If you understand the way the power sector is structured, we have a value chain. We have the people that generate electricity, we have the people that transmit electricity, we have the people that distribute, which main power happens to be within that space. But this very maintenance is happening within the transmission space. We have a transmission station at New Haven. They are carrying out rehabilitation work, and that imparts on our service to our customers. So if they are carrying out maintenance, for instance, we will not be able to serve you. Okay, there will be disruption in the service delivery as a result of that maintenance. So what is happening is that transmission company is carrying out maintenance work within its station, which will impart on our service to you. And talking about the 10 days, unfortunately, the very news platform that broke the news gave out that headline, which was a misrepresentation of what the whole thing is all about. We have about 9 feeders. We have feeders that pick energy from the transmission station to various areas within Enugu metropolis, and these feeders will be imparted by this exercise. And within from the 22nd to 31st, each of these feeders will have dedicated day for their own maintenance. So this maintenance started yesterday and they imparted Kingsway line 1. We have 9 feeders. You have Kingsway line 1 and 2. We have MNA Industrial line 1 and 2. We have Thinkers Corner. We have Transekulu. We have Ugogo. We have Itukwozala. Okay, these are 33 kV feeders that are imparted by this exercise, and each of those feeders will have a day. We have 9th mile as well. So yesterday was for Kingsway line 1. So between 9 to 5, it happened within that space yesterday. So today, we're going to have MNA Industrial line 1. Between 9 to 5. That is how it will run until we finish up. So there's nothing like 10-day blackout. And even within this time frame structured for this program, it's just happening 8 days. Like on the 27th and on the 30th, nothing will happen on those days. So for somebody to, interpret it as, of course, the people in the media, you have a way of selling your stories. Maybe a catchy headline that will stir up the whole environment and create confusion. This was what happened. A lot of people were concerned, and as a result of that reaction, we had to come out to begin to engage and clarify these issues and allay their fears. So it's not a 10-day blackout within anywhere in Enugu. So these are strategic. That's why it's planned outage. It's not an emergency. You can't throw everybody out just like that, because electricity is critical to our existence. So to answer your question, this is a strategic plan to carry out this maintenance and upgrade, and it's all geared towards improving the quality of service that we are getting as customers.
All right. Now, you've talked about the timing from 9 to 5. So are you saying that after that 5 p.m. that the power supply will be restored?
Definitely it will be restored. Like I always say, when we give this timing, we say all things being equal, okay? There might be unforeseen developments that might make it go beyond that. There might also be situation where the power will be restored before that 5 o'clock. This is just a time frame for the operation to happen, and sometimes we restore before that 5 o'clock. So these are things that happen. I'll give you a typical example. Somebody that you have a vehicle, a car, and is due for service. Normally, to service the vehicle, you drain the oil, change the filter, and you move on. But in doing that, you now discover another potential issue. Are you going to tackle it at that time, or will you schedule it for another day? So these are some of these. So that time ordinarily that you would have used to run your service has been extended because of that very issue. So all things being equal, between 9 and 5 will restore. But if there are unforeseen issues, we'll notify our customers of the development.
So you are saying unforeseen issues. So are you saying that from this there might be a major blackout in the state? Because people are always saying that all this planned maintenance sometimes leads to weeks and months of blackout. No. What are they supposed to expect?
No, there is no way a planned outage can lead to what if you have an emergency can, but we've not had something like that. So this is a planned outage. We know what we want to do. The contractors know what they want to do. And okay, you want to remove this fuse. You're going in, you're removing that fuse. How long will it take you to remove it? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you restore. So there's no, customers do not need to panic. There's no cause for alarm.
Yes, Mr. Eze.
I must say, the feeder that happened yesterday has been restored. So nobody even knew. A lot of people were saying, I thought you people say there will be outage everywhere. You're on supply, I believe. So it's not yet your own time. When is your own time? Within that time frame, you notice that your supply will be disrupted.
I understand, but at the same time, this is a daytime interruption. I mean, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., it's usually the times when businesses and, people that have things to use electricity for, that's when, they run. So were there any considerations in place when it came to deciding, when the outage should take place instead of maybe overnight or shorter?
You can't carry such outage at night. You can't carry such maintenance at night. You're here. When you get home and you don't see supply, how will you feel? So if you're considering the people that run business, also consider people that will get home and they won't see supply if you now want us to carry out the maintenance at night. But there's no way such a job can be done at night. Okay, so it's something that will happen during the day, but we are saying, okay, this will happen between, the fact that we've even come out to tell you, notify you, is to prepare you for whatever that could happen. So whatever inconveniences you will suffer within that time and begin to enjoy improved service, I think it's worth sacrificing. So we consider our customers. We consider everything. We consider businesses, but we're also running a service industry, and the goal is to ensure that at every point we improve on the quality of service we're giving you. So if we are upgrading our transmission is replacing some equipment and upgrading the ones they have to serve you better, and they are asking for 9 to 5 o'clock. Is it too much to sacrifice? So we want us to see it from that point. There's no way a machine can run for a whole year without being maintained. If it packs up, it will be more damaging, and that is where the emergency and the one you're referring to might happen. You now have a situation where in a whole week you won't have supply. Nobody is praying for such.
All right. Now, we would like you to comment on the roles of EEDC, main power, and Enugu regulatory body, and the whole dispute that happened in the past. What are their roles and what is the difference?
Okay, Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission is a regulatory agency set up by the state government. Of course, you know that the Electricity Act of 2023, as amended, gave power to states to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. So that also gave them power to enact their own laws, set up their regulatory commission, and regulate electricity within Enugu State. Before now, electricity was in the exclusive list. With that act, is now in the concurrent list, which means states can now play. Before, it was the federal that was playing. And before now, we had the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission regulating the whole space. With what has happened, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has transferred that right, regulatory right, to Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission. By that same act, the distribution company, which is EEDC, is expected to set up a subsidiary company that will be interfacing with the State Regulatory Commission. And that is where Main Power came in. So Main Power is a subsidiary of EEDC, saddled with the responsibility of distributing electricity within Enugu State. And they're answerable to Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission because they are the ones that license Main Power. So they dictate the rules, they have rules, and the Main Power is under obligation to run by those rules. Where they are found wanting, they will be called to order, sanctioned, or anything that can happen. So that is exactly what has happened. In Imo State, which is part of where EEDC was responsible until this sole arrangement, we have Transpower in Imo State. In Abia State, we have New Era. These are subsidiary companies we've registered to run the affairs of electricity distribution within the areas. In Anambra, we have First Power. Until Anambra sets up their own regulatory, First Power cannot come out to exist. So we still have EEDC running in Anambra, same as Ebonyi. In Ebonyi, we have Eastland Electricity. But EEDC is still there because they've not enacted their own law like Enugu has done. So that is basically what has happened, and is a way of unbundling EEDC to ensure that they are more efficient in the states, just like what we're experiencing in Enugu. I'm sure you can attest to the fact that things are improving by the day, and the maintenance we are talking about is also targeted at ensuring that efficiencies are achieved.
Now, some residents believe that most of these disruptions come from the transmission side under TCN, while some blame distribution companies like MEDL. So from your perspective, how would you explain the difference between transmission-related issues and distribution-related issues to the average person that does not understand all of this?
Anyway, because we are the ones that interface with you. You don't interface with transmission, you don't interface with generation. So most times when there's problem at the generation, it imparts on our service to you, and is Main Power that you call, or EEDC as the case may be. So what is happening now is not aimed at getting at anybody. It's a normal process. I gave you an example of somebody that owns a vehicle. You must service your vehicle, otherwise, even as human beings, we go for checkups and all those. So it is something that is bound to happen. So if there's disruption, it's only when it stretches longer than necessary that it becomes a problem. We all have our issues. Within the distribution space, we might also encounter disruption, challenges. Transmission has given us power, but because of our own challenge, we will not be able to serve you. It's not transmission this time, it's distribution. If your transformer within your space develops issue, for example, transmission has given us power, but because you have local fault within your area, we're not able to serve you. You can't blame transmission. There was a time, because of gas constraint, the GENCOs were not able to generate enough power. That was their own problem, and it's imparting on our service to you. Those people call us out that you're not giving us supply. as if we got the supply and we didn't give to you. So these are scenarios, and I want us to appreciate that fact. Every of the value chain, they have their own peculiarities, and the good thing is that once there are issues, you're out to notify your customers. That is what we try to do. If there are issues, we notify our customers affected by this very issue. So there's no member of the value chain that can come and beat their chest that they are, perfect. We all have our peculiarities, but the good thing is that we work as a team to ensure that customers do not suffer unduly, and at every point we carry them along by way of communication on what we are doing or what is happening within the space.
All right, now let's look at the power sector in Nigeria. Do you think that the power sector is centralized?
Okay, like I said earlier on, it was before now in the exclusive list. So as it stands now, it's no longer centralized, because states can now generate, they can attract investment into the state and generate their power and improve the allocation they are getting. Currently, we are receiving power from the grid. Maybe that if that's the question you're asking. The power we are distributing as main power today is coming from the grid. If tomorrow the state regulatory commission licenses a generation company that can come into the state and generate power, it will increase the allocation we are getting from the grid. So to answer your question, the power generation for now is still coming from the grid. It's still centralized, if that's the point you're trying to.
All right.
So generally, how would you describe the current health of Enugu's electricity infrastructure, and what are the biggest challenges that you're still working to overcome?
Okay, I would say that funding is a major challenge, because the sector needs a lot of investment, to, like what is happening now at the transmission space, costs billions of naira. Okay, so and these funds are not readily available for the players to access. That is a major challenge. And if you're asking of the state, it might not be top notch as you want it to be, but we try as much as possible to ensure that we take close look at them, maintain them where necessary, to ensure that customers will not suffer. If we get the funds, if we have access to the funds, there are projects that we've identified within our space that will improve the service quality to our customers. Okay, there are some of our feeders that we need to invest in to enhance the service delivery to customers. So there's a lot to be done, but funding is a critical challenge.
All right, now let's talk about the meter. Some people are of the opinion that they don't want the meters that was shared, and some say that it is okay, but the cost is becoming so much. What do you have to say about that?
Anyway, is it the cost of the meter or the cost of
the power, the watts and the rest?
Okay, I'll start by saying that electricity is not a cheap commodity. If you're self-generating, if you're running your generator in your home, you can tell me that you know how much you spend to buy fuel or diesel, as the case may be, or if you have installed solar or all other alternatives, you know how much you put in to have them. So electricity is not cheap, and that is why you have the regulators ensuring that the customers are not shortchanged by the players, also ensuring that the players are also having an enabling environment to serve these customers. Expensive is relative. There are people that are excited with the grid power because it's cheaper, and if you look at it, it's cheaper than alternatives. The grid power is cheaper than alternative. I'm sure that people that are reacting that way are people within the band A feeders that had their tariff increased as a result of withdrawal of subsidy. Before the introduction of that very initiative, the federal government has been subsidizing electricity, and it's no longer sustainable, and they opted to gradually remove that subsidy, and they started with the band A. You now have the band A is paying more than every other bands. Currently is at 209 exclusive of VAT. So by the time you add the VAT, you're getting 225 per kilowatt hour. So if you're living within band A feeders, that is what you'll be paying. And the whole idea of ensuring that customers within band A feeders are metered is to enable them manage and regulate their consumption. If you have a meter and you want to spend 5,000, you load 5,000 onto your meter and you begin to manage your consumption until when it runs out. The program to close the metering gap within the band A was a federal government initiative together with the regulators to ensure that those customers are paying and managing their consumption, paying for energy and managing their consumption. But like you rightly pointed out, some people did not want the meter for reasons best known to them. And I'm surprised.
But apart from the meter, those who also get the estimated bill, they don't have prepaid meters. We also have issues of people complaining that the estimated bill given to them is so much more than even what they consume, and some of them don't even have lights in their area. Some complain that they haven't had lights for a week, 2 or 4 in an elongated period of time, and then they get these bills of 10,000, 20,000 and above. So speak to that as well.
Okay, you know, we're in this business, okay? We get different reactions. You can see somebody that you have provided supply to, but when you come for your bills, they will tell you they don't see the supply. There's a meter. Because of all these things, we came up with different programs. There's this distribution metering that we did, where we had meters at the transformers. Somebody that is saying they've not had light since thy kingdom come. You go to that meter, you see that the meter is recorded. So who consumed the supply? I'm not saying that there are no genuine cases, so, but when we have such cases, you bring them forward for resolution. And to address this concern, the regulator also came up with a capping methodology such that customers without meter within specific bands are not billed more than a certain threshold, and that is what is being followed. You have some people within that space that are consuming more than what the threshold has provided. If you bring meter, they will tell you they don't want meter. They want to be paying based on cap, and that is undermining the business itself. So, you know, when you talk of estimation, it's not a perfect scenario. It favors some people, it doesn't favor some people. Somebody that is living in a room, maybe a room and parlor, maybe he doesn't have air condition, and the regulator has said I should bill the person 100 units, okay, because he or she is not metered. There's somebody in a duplex, okay, that has air condition all over the place. Because he's not metered, I'm also billing him that cap. You can see that it's not fair on both sides. But the guy in the duplex will not want me to bring meter and install for him. But the guy in the room and parlor needs meter because whatever appliances he has, he feels is not what you're billing is not up to what is consumed. So it's not 100% perfect arrangement, but it's just something in between. And part of the enlightenment is to encourage customers to go for meter. Okay, you go for meter, apply for meter to, you know, address these concerns, and you will be reimbursed if you advance funds for meter to be installed for you. As you recharge that meter, you get refund of that sum that you paid for that meter. And the issue of I have only one bulb in my home, I'm being billed so amount, will be put to rest. So these are some of the, and that's where the challenge of funding also come in. If we had the means, if we had the resources, we would meter everybody.
Okay.
Without waiting for all these programs drawn up by the regulator to close the gap. There's a MAP program which the customer pays for meter, and meter is installed for them and they are reimbursed. There are other programs that we've had in the past where the customer didn't have to pay, like the one we did to close up the metering gap within band A feeders. Customers didn't pay for it. We just plugged the meters for them. It's the disco that pays for that meter because we were able to access support from federal government.
All right. Yeah, Lillian, I know you want to ask a question, but just hold on. Now, you mentioned closing the metering gap and, you know, most people being on band A having higher tariffs to pay than those from other bands. But it just made me wonder, why do we have to have bands, band A, band B, and all the, why can't we just have one, you know, that covers everybody? Why the demarcation?
Okay, you know, most times some of these introductions are born out of engagements with customers. The service-based tariff has been in existence since 2020, but I'm sure most of us started hearing of it maybe last year because the subsidy for band A was removed and their tariff got higher than every other. Even within that period it was introduced, band A has always been paying higher than other bands. Before it was increased, they were paying 70 naira per kilowatt hour. The band B was 60 naira and it was graduated down. Now, with the removal, they are now paying full cost of electricity. When the sector was privatized, part of the condition by the investors was that they should be allowed to implement what we call cost-reflective tariff. You have a product you're selling to your customers, you should be allowed to apply the real cost of that product. But over the years, we've been underpricing that product. And that is why the kind of efficiency that we are supposed to have achieved by now has not happened.
Why the demarcations of the bands?
Yeah, so there was this public engagement. Okay, usually before tariff is adjusted, you call for consultation, and at that forum, some people were saying, no, don't increase the tariff until we begin to get 24 hours. Some people say, where I'm staying, I'm not getting up to 3 hours. Somebody there is getting maybe 20 hours and is paying the same tariff. Okay? So these are feedbacks. I want to believe that that's what informed this. It's the regulator that came up with it. It's not the distribution companies. It's the NEC that came up with it. So to carry everybody along. Some people are of the view that they don't need 24 hours. They just need 3 hours, that they're okay. I don't know if you've heard that. We hear it every time. So that, I believe, was what gave rise to this. Okay, now, let's not bill every... You can imagine if they had said, okay, everybody pay 209. And you're where you're getting 3 hours or 4 hours a day, will you be happy to pay 309? I mean 209. You won't be happy. So that's why it happened that way. And it was also a conscious way of getting the distribution companies to invest in their infrastructure. So you have customers that are enjoying minimum of 8 hours. Investment happens in their feeder and they are now migrated to upper band to enjoy better service. All those projects cannot happen at the same time. So that is why they were segmented, and after every investment on a particular feeder, application will be made to the regulator for migration. We'll now migrate them and they begin to enjoy better service. So the end point is to have all the feeders on 247, or it's a journey and we have to take it one step at a time. So
all right. Now, looking at Nigeria, comparing Nigeria with other countries, what can Nigeria do for us to look like other countries that have sustainable and stable power supply? And what is the plan of the MEDL, you know, towards achieving uninterrupted power supply, especially in Enugu and its environs?
Okay, asking of what we need to do. We all have role to play, and if all of us play our part, we'll get to where we are headed. We need to have a change of orientation. Most people still see electricity as something they don't have to pay for, something they should just be enjoying without paying for it. Okay, most people do not have electricity bill in their list of utility or bills they have to pay in a month. It's only when you bring ladder that they remember that they will pay. Every month you should make provision for your energy bill, just like you make provision for your for ladies now, for your makeup and all those things. Okay, so you make provision for your energy bill. It starts from there. And when you see people stealing electricity, if you drive around here, you see people stealing electricity. What do you do when you see them? Those electricity that are being used are not accounted for. They are stolen. You see some people, they will set up their people that are well-to-do. It's not we're not talking about people that can't afford. People that are well-to-do, but they don't see the need to pay for electricity. So how can you achieve that standard that you want to achieve with this kind of issues? You see people attacking substation, transformer. They go and cut the cable. They go and carry the transformer. They carry some transformers. Okay, they drain the oil. They cut the armored cable. These are challenges that are drawing us back. Okay, so there's a whole lot. If we begin to enumerate them, maybe we'll leave here. There's a whole lot. It starts from within. Do you pay your bills? How well do you ensure that the electricity infrastructure serving you is protected? Those are part of the thing. And by so doing, you attract investment. People that want to invest in this sector, when they see that we have sincere and responsible people, they will be willing to come and I can't go and invest my money where tomorrow somebody will come and carry my transformer, or somebody will use my product, it won't pay. And ultimately, you have to pay the right price. We are shouting that it's too high, it's too high. That 209 does not capture the whole cost of that product, and we are crying. So we need to see electricity as a product that we have to pay for. A lot of prices of things have gone up over the years. Electricity bill is one that nobody wants to move an inch. A liter of fuel, I don't know how much, whether you bought fuel lately. How much is it now? How much was it 2 years ago? But electricity tariff has been, almost stagnant. A bag of rice, I don't know how much you buy it now. How much was it? So prices, inflation, FX,
all right.
Most of our activities are dollarized, and that
Mr.
is also...
Mr. Emeka, can you hold that thought? We want to go on a short break quickly. We'll get back to you. Now, let's take a quick break. Welcome back. Now, over to you, Mr. Emeka. You were, highlighting on the MEDL's plan in, getting sustainable power supply for Enugu.
Okay, I was just trying to say that, for us to achieve that sustainability, we all have a role to play. We, as the service provider, you, as the end user, there are responsibilities, obligations that you're supposed to live up to. Payment of your bills, ensuring that the infrastructure serving you is protected and all that. Okay, so these are part of the thing, and the right price has to be paid. If you have a product and you're not applying the right price, definitely you can't sustain that business. So we're all crying that the tariff is high, but if you look at the whole cost, associated cost of delivering that product to you, that 209 is not addressing the cost. So these are some of the things. We also appeal to our governments. There's what we call MDA debt, ministries, departments, agencies of government, to also help us in paying their bills. Most of them are reneging, they are not paying their bills, and that is also part of what is drawing us back in achieving that sustainability and uninterrupted power. That if you go around Enugu, most of our feeders are radiating 24 hours a day. So in some parts we have achieved that. That's to show you that is achievable. It's something that can happen, but we need to support the system to, you know, ensure that it happens the way we want it to. Okay, there's an update on the planned maintenance. There's a slight change in the schedule for the maintenance, and this will push out to our customers. So it's been suspended for now due to some technical issues. By the time we consult with our partners, we'll now come out with an official statement for our customers to be aware.
So are you saying that the maintenance has been suspended?
Yeah,
for now.
For now, that there's an adjustment on the schedule, which will give out. You know, today is meant for a particular feeder, so it's not going to happen that way again. So we're going to push out the communication for our customers to get the updated information.
All right. A very big thank you to you, Mr. Emeka.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And yes, we just spoke to Emeka. He's the group head communications at MEDL Enugu, and that is where we stop it on that conversation on the state of electricity supply in Enugu and its environs. Over to you.
Yes, that's where we leave it this morning. It's always a pleasure having you join us in these conversations. And remember that your voice matters. So make sure to go to our social media platforms and be a part of our discussions that we have every single day on Signature TV. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, make sure to stay tuned as the morning show continues in a moment. I am Uchenna Chimdi Olwoha.
And yes, I am Lilian Wali.